Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's insurance agency webinar presented by Farmers Insurance Group. Farmers is one of the country's largest insurers of automobiles, homes, and small businesses, as well as providing access to insurance and financial services products. Today, we are fortunate to be joined by Nate Hildner, District Manager. Nate has been with Farmers Insurance family for over 19 years and has served in several executive leadership roles in 6 different states. Most recently, Nate was the head of Farmers Life Insurance Company in Seattle, Washington, before becoming a district manager in Naperville in 2018. Nate is married and has 3 beautiful children. He's an avid golfer and loves Michigan and Detroit sports. Nate has a passion for working side by side with entrepreneurs as they build their legacy and make their dreams of owning a business with unlimited earning potential. Before I go ahead and turn things over to Nate, I want to let you know that today's webinar will be recorded and you will receive an email later today so that you can view or share with any colleague, friend, or family member you think would be interested in learning more about the opportunity. At the end of the presentation, we will have a question and answer session. You'll notice that you are muted and you will be throughout the call. So please use the chat feature to send over any questions you may have. Now here's Nate.
Hey, thank you so much for that introduction, Beth. I don't know who Brett Hildner is, but I've been called way worse than that before, so no worries. I just want to say thank you to all the attendees today that have taken time out of their busy schedules to learn a little bit more about what I truly believe is the best small business opportunity in the United States. I've had the great fortune to be with the Farmers Family organization going on 20 years, July 1st, and have had the good fortune to see so many people enter into our business as agency owners from a number of backgrounds and previous experiences, and whether their dreams were to make 70,000, 80,000, 100,000, and all of a sudden 5, 10, 15 years down the road, as Beth said, we offer unlimited earning potential. To be making $250,000, $500,000, and grow $1 million agency is what I take great pride in. And it's one thing for me to sit here and talk about 20 years of experience and what I've seen and what makes people successful and talk about why they've come into the business. But I think it's much more impactful to have one of my very newest agents with us today. Mr. Fred Abernathy has taken time out of his busy schedule to talk with us for the next 10 minutes or so. And we'll try and keep the Detroit Lions and Chicago Bears feud out of this today, or the Fighting Illini and the Michigan Wolverines feud out. But, I had the great pleasure to meet Fred just about 2 years ago. And Fred had a really, really successful career with CarMax for 17 years, sold cars, worked his way up into management. And when I met Fred, he had just started working a little bit in the health insurance industry, was working with Aflac, and Fred came into my office through a referral and didn't know much about the business. And fast forward a year and a half later, Fred is his own boss. He runs his own agency. He sets his time. He's had tremendous success. We're announcing on Friday that Fred is top 10% in the entire industry and has achieved Topper Club in one of the fastest periods of time that I've seen. And I asked Fred to share a little bit about his experience in joining Farmers, what he was maybe concerned with as he started his new career. So Fred and I are going to go back and forth with a couple of questions to share his experience. So Fred, thanks for being here with us today. We did this a couple months back, and I think the attendees really, really enjoyed getting to learn more about your experience with Farmers, our team, the Farmers family. So my first question to you, after that successful run with CarMax and working with Aflac a little bit, what intrigued you about the insurance industry as a whole, and then maybe transition into why Farmers?
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here and talk to these people about this opportunity. And you are correct. This was one of the best opportunities that I've seen out there in the insurance agency. Like you said, being at CarMax as a sales manager, I got to go to a lot of different job fairs, and I got recruited by the State Farm. So while I'm at the job fair recruiting other people, I was recruited by State Farm, the Allstates, and things of that nature. So obviously, having auto insurance and homeowners insurance myself, kind of knew a little bit about the business, but not quite. And then getting involved with Aflac let me know that insurance, you get that trickle down pay that happens over and over again. If I put a lot of work up front, I can get paid off this money over and over again. And when I learned about the farmers opportunity, which was totally because somebody else recommended me, which was I still appreciate this guy to today, Brian Levine. You called him and he recommended me. And when my dad used to teach me, whenever you go inside of a building, you got to know where the exits are. So you got to be able to protect your family and be able to get out of this building, restaurant, or anything. That's why we sit with our back to the door and we face the exits. So coming to farmers, I wanted to know what my exit strategy would be. And being able to own my own agency, which means that I can sell it at the end, I can give it to my daughters, I can just hold on to it and live off the service. All of that gave me a great exit strategy because I don't think any of us on this call want to work when we're 80. So there's going to be a point where for everybody there needs to be an exit strategy. And despite the fact that Nate loves the Detroit everything and Michigan everything, he's a great district manager. This was a great team to be a part of, and they made the transition from being an employee of other people's to being my own business owner. Just amazing.
No, that's awesome, Fred. So you mentioned a couple of key things there. To be your own boss, unlimited earning potential, and I'm going to talk more about our family rights opportunities, being able to put your agency on the open market to get whatever you want. But I think the power of insurance is you get paid new business commission when you write a household, and you keep getting paid on renewal, or we call it service income. So if you build good relationships, you connect with people, and we always say people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. You can build a very, very lucrative business. So Fred, as you were making the transition and you had decided that, hey, this Nate guy is not too bad, he's got a great support team, what were some of your biggest maybe concerns in making a transition from the car industry to the insurance industry? What concerns did you have?
My only concern really is in our day and age, when you're asking somebody to give you money on a consistent basis, we weren't really giving them anything tangible. So most people, when they go shopping, you go buy a sweater, you pay for it, they give you a sweater. But when you buy insurance, they're buying the trust and integrity that when something happens, we're going to be there for them, which is what made farmers a very attractive opportunity because of the name. I knew the name, I know the logo, we are farmers. So you hear that bumble, and I'll be honest, I say that to new people that call my office. And they're like, oh, where am I calling? Oh, I say we are farmers, and I just listen, and they say, oh yeah, the bumble. Absolutely. We use that. So having that name behind you with the integrity and being somebody that people can like was just great. So it took away my concerns of telling somebody, hey, I want to sell you an insurance policy. And they're like, well, what company is it? Then I got to make them believe into the company. They had already had the name right. So that just made it more, it took away a lot of apprehension for me.
No, that sounds good. I appreciate that. You know, J.K. Simmons, he's won an Academy Award. He's been doing some of our advertising now, I think dating back to 2016. Every time you're wearing the Farmers logo, wherever you go, people are humming that jingle. So it is good to know that you got a good brand behind you. And if my agents say anything, it's that our claims department pays too much versus not enough. And that's what you have to stand behind. When your customer needs you the most, is Farmers going to step up and take care of them? in a car accident, when their home burns down, when they lose a loved one with life insurance. And I can promise you that the Farmers Organization does deliver. So, Fred, jumping into a new industry, people are new candidates. When I talk to them, they're always concerned about what's the training look like? What's the onboarding? What does that experience look like with your team? Am I just going to be another number? Are you going to just try and recruit a bunch of people and I don't get support like a lot of brand new startup insurance, life insurance companies? I hear that a lot with, I didn't get the right training. I didn't get the right onboarding. Can you talk a little bit about what your experience was from that perspective?
Well, I'm a little different because I kind of felt like I got too much training. But we went through a 5-week intensive training at the district office. I loved every minute of it. Gabby, our trainer, is amazing. Now, Nate's a great guy, but I'm gonna tell you guys, Gabby is the one. Nate and John do a fabulous job, but any question I ever had about the systems, the software, the nuances of the product, I give Gabby a call. I know for the first 3 months, she probably was like, dude, please don't call me anymore. But
that's not true.
Never once was she upset by it. Never once did she like stop calling me. She answered every question, and now we're off to the running. So they were always there when I needed them, and still there today. Even though I've been an agent for over a year and a half, if I have any questions or concerns, I know I can call my district team, and they're going to help me. And if they don't have the answer, which I haven't run up against, I know that they're going to go get it. So training was great. The first 5 weeks, you had to sell and get the training done at the same time. So it helps you be a multitasker as well. So, because when you become an agency owner, you're going to have multiple things thrown up. You got these balls to juggle. But having a team with a district like we do is amazing and phenomenal. I would assume that the other districts have similar teams, but I'm going to talk about District 09, and our team is phenomenal.
I appreciate that. There's only one District 09, and Gabby, a little bit more about her. She's our agency business consultant here out of our local Naperville district, and she has 26 years of experience. She led a 7-time Farmers Agent of the Year over in Palos. They are President's Council. They're in the Hall of Fame, and she ran their auto and home. So you talk about somebody that knows the industry and knows how to help agents become successful. As Fred says, you will not get any better training than from Gabby and the support she offers. And Fred, you mentioned the 5-week training. You also went through a pretty intensive 5-week training through the University of Farmers, and you were in there with other business owners, probably 40 to 45 from around the country. So you get the local district support as well as the University of Farmers from a national perspective. So when you're ready to sign that retail contract, you're prepared and ready to go. So Fred, you mentioned 1.5 years in the business, and we've had a lot of fun together. Maybe biggest surprise to you being in the business 1.5 years, something that you weren't expecting that you'd like to share with the group?
Biggest surprise. The surprise for me was how well I was able to adapt to being an agency owner. And I definitely attribute that to Nate, John, and Gabby making the transition from being always in corporate America working under somebody else to now being virtually your own boss. I don't consider myself the boss of my agency, and that's why I named it Team Abernathy as opposed to just Fred Abernathy. But the team aspect of it is amazing. But I think the one amazing thing was how my children respected what I did. When I told them about the life insurance and how when somebody passes away, what we can do for them and what we can do for them while they're still living. And to hear my daughter say, wow, that's amazing. It was a different type of pride than when, oh, I sold a Land Rover. They were like, oh, that's cool. But, oh, you sold somebody a life insurance policy that's going to change their family's lives. Oh, Dad, that is pretty great. So the feeling that you get when you help transfer somebody's lives, not just about auto insurance, but literally when you start selling life insurance to people and you know that this is going to effectively change the course of their family dynamics, when you leave here, because we're all going to leave here, you have left a legacy back, because they're going to always remember, man, Fred is the one who took care of my grandpa, who took care of my dad, and made sure that our family was taken care of. So that type of feeling, you can't put in words. It's just amazing. So I definitely was surprised by that.
No, that's great, Fred. I'm going to talk a little bit about our farmers family culture, but I think that ties into it, educating, giving back to your community, showing the impact that you can have on people's lives and their family is one of the biggest things that we talk about. I think also, Fred, you know this, you can't run the agency by yourself, and you've got a great support team around you. And something we're going to talk about is the protege program. So having the opportunity to learn under a mentor agent like Fred that has walked the walk and he can talk the talk, you've given that opportunity to quite a few people that maybe don't have the capital and they want to learn the business from somebody that's done it. And Fred is bringing on 2 brand new people. He's got a great lady that he worked with at CarMax named Linda, and a few other staff. So, I mean, he's building his own empire. And I think that's the cool thing for entrepreneurs and people that want to own their own business, that they can help change other people's lives as well. So last question for you, Fred. Any words of wisdom or any encouragement that maybe one of the individuals that's listening to this right now, they're thinking about making that leap, they're scared to come into a new industry, anything that you could share with them?
So the one thing that I would share is, hey, I don't like trading my hours for dollars, which means working an hourly rate, even being salaried, where you have to be at a certain place at a certain time so that you can get your pay. And also, I never liked being in a situation where the person next to me made the same thing that I made, even though I was working harder than them. So in this industry, you're your own boss, which means you set your own hours. You can be at home, be on the beach, as long as you got internet, laptop, and your phone. You can sell any policy you got anywhere. But more importantly, if you work harder, you should get compensated more for the people who don't. And if you feel like you're going to bet on anybody in this world, bet on yourself, and bet on the fact that you're going to put more into it to build your own than you're going to put into it to build somebody else's dream. And if you're working at any company right now you're building somebody else's dream. Farmers allows you to build your own dream and dictate how you want to live your life. That's what I would say.
That's awesome, man. Couldn't have said it any better. And that's why we had you on. I mean, I am so blessed to have you on our team, Fred, and part of our farmers family. You've done an amazing job. As we were talking before, you're going to be taking an awesome trip, being a top 10%er, heading to San Diego late July, rubbing shoulders with the very best in the business. And I'm super proud of all your accomplishments, and couldn't be more proud of you. So thank you for taking 20 minutes of your time today. Let's go sell some more life and commercial and auto and home and give back to the community that you're serving in. So congrats, Fred. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. So you got to hear from somebody that's walking the walk. I'm now going to turn it over to my head of recruiting. Fred talked about the great support that John and Gabby give, and I'm going to introduce you to my director of recruiting to cover the next couple slides, give a little bit more information about farmers and the products that we sell. So John Breidenbach, please take it away.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate y'all being on this call today. I know that this is something for most of you, it's brand new. So taking in that information, we're trying to make it as easy as possible, seamless. So I wanted to talk about 2 main things here. So who's farmers, right? Who are you dealing with? We're a top company out there. Besides just the jingle and you know the actual brand recognition, who is the company? Who would you be representing as an agent, as a protege, or an associate agent? So there's a couple things on this slide. I don't want to get into all the details. You can see it right there. But there's things that stand out to me. So right, as an agent, you're offering services and different products and things like that, but you have to have that backing behind you, where it kind of covers your butt, right? You're selling a policy and you don't want to talk the talk and not be able to walk the walk. So having that 24/7 awards winning claims department is huge for us. Nate mentioned earlier, sometimes we're even known to overpay, which is a great thing as an agency owner because you can always have your clients back, no matter the product. The second thing that I really wanted to point out is the best in class training with the University of Farmers. We call it the U of F. So you get the training here in our district office, but you also get our own Farmers, University of Farmers. So that's portals and learning about products and the actual systems and learning how to quote. And then you could take that information and bring that in here where Gabby is our onboarder, and she's going to walk you through hands-on how to write a policy, how to sell, how to pitch to a client, and take that information and really apply it. The final thing on this slide that I really wanted to cover as well. So Farmers, you could start a policy, say for example, an auto policy, you start that with Farmers. One of the benefits to being an exclusive agent is being able to offer with the abundance of companies that comes with Farmers and that we own as well. So for example, Foremost, your toys, things like that, Craft Lake, Nate will cover that in a later slide, but that's a placing business outside of Farmers as well. And then Bristol West, you can write an auto policy with them as well. So there's multiple options, not just Farmers. And if Farmers won't accept that risk, right? Too many claims, not a good driving record, things like that. In most companies nowadays, it's a lost cause. You lose that client, say you have their home and a bunch of other products and you can't write their auto, tough luck. Where with Farmers, you have multiple options as well. So, and with the products, let's jump to the next slide. This is kind of a two-pronged slide here. So I want to cover not only the products, but with that, there's a licensing. So here in the state of Illinois, insurance and real estate kind of go hand in hand as far as licensing. So if you understand the real estate licensing, right, you can't walk a house, sell a house, list a house until you're licensed by the state of Illinois. Same situation here with insurance, right? So and I'll break it down. So property and casualty, that's your bread and butter, right? Your auto, your home, your renters, umbrella. Most of you folks on this call probably have one of those products, okay? And so the way the insurance industry works is you have those property and casualty licenses. As soon as you're licensed in property and casualty, you can offer those products. The other second portion to that is your life and health insurance. So you would go through the licensing process, which I deal with directly with you. You get licensed in life and health insurance, and then you can offer that term life, the whole life, universal. You can see the rest of them on the slide. Now, I say after probably your first year, one of the things that we would like to consider is having your financial licenses as well. So those are, for example, your Series 6, 63, things like that, where you're able to not only offer the insurance policies, right, auto, home, life insurance, but you can also offer a 401k, right, a 529 plan, things like that, that really retains your clients as well. If somebody's willing to invest their funds into a retirement account with you, pretty sure they'd be willing to insure their Honda Civic or something like that. So as you can see on the bottom, auto, home, life, business insurance, so commercial, as you're considering this opportunity, start thinking about your natural market, right? Fred, for example, he was in automotive sales. So what do you think he capitalized on? The used car market and his CarMax ties and building relationships with sales leaders in that industry. So, and it builds a referral system. So not only the recruiting, but I also do a lot of the marketing as well. So coming up with different strategies to market towards that property and casualty and life insurance. And before I kick it back over to Nate to talk about the exclusivity and the exclusive ownership experience with Farmers, as far as the licensing goes, it's nothing to worry about. So I send an email to you, it's teed up with a company. It's something that, you and I can walk through and select, whether it be a different company, whether we want to go property and casualty first or life insurance first. We get exclusive discounts with Farmers. So coming aboard with Farmers, it's already pre-discounted for you. So I run point on all that stuff. So we can definitely start a conversation on it. So I'm going to turn it back to Nate. He's going to talk a little bit more about what it means to be an exclusive agent and talk about the different perks.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Yeah, licensing, if you're on the call today and you say, well, how long does that process take to get all 4 licenses, property, casualty, life and health? You can easily do that within 30 days and become fully licensed. So let's talk a little bit about why I believe Farmers has the best contract. So Beth, if we can move to that slide, thank you. Number 1, you own your own business and you can sell the business on the open market. There are very, very few insurance companies that allow you to do so. And really it's independent agencies as well as Farmers and Allstate. State Farm, Country, Liberty Mutual, Country Company, they are not allowed to sell their agencies. So you do not own your own business, but you do with Farmers. And that can be a pretty powerful tool when you are looking to retire because the going rate right now to buy an agency or sell an agency is 1.3 to 2 times the value of the renewal commission. So very, very lucrative. The second thing, Fred talked about it, he's got 2 beautiful daughters. If one of his daughters someday would like to take over his business, we have in our contract the family rights provision where he can gift the agency over to one of his daughters. Other scenarios, you can gift it to a loved one, a husband, a wife, brother, sister. And again, most insurance companies do not allow you to gift the agency to a loved one. We are a one-stop shop for customers. As John just walked you through 20 plus different products, there's not a policy that's out there that Farmers doesn't offer. And you think about if somebody trusts you with their money and is vesting in a 401k or a 529 plan or a variable life policy, and they get a renewal on their auto and home, which is happening a lot right now in our industry, the likelihood that they're going to shop when they have their money invested with you is very, very low. So being a one-stop shop for all the products that we offer is very, very important. Multiple carriers. So John talked about this. We have our Farmers products. We have a Bristol West company that is a non-standard auto company. So the DUIs, you need an SR22, too many speeding tickets, too many claims. We put those customers in Bristol West, and then we move them to Farmers in the future. We also own a brokerage. So if there's something in the appetite with Bristol and Farmers that we just don't feel comfortable writing, we have 20 carriers within our Craft Lake brokerage where you can place a customer. So those 4 things, owning your business, family rights, being a one-stop shop, and having access to multiple carriers, I put our contract up against any other carrier that's out there. Beth, let's move forward to the next slide. I want to talk for the next 2 to 3 minutes about the retail program. Retail program is you are setting up a brick and mortar location. It's a 36 or 3-month contract, 36-month or 3-year contract. I want to talk a little bit about the benefits of the retail program. So if we move forward, there are quite a few bonuses that you get right from the get-go. So once you've picked your office location, you will get up to $6,000 from Farmers for your outside signage. Number 2, you're going to get a $5,000 signing bonus to help you with some of the initial upfront expenses. That may be furniture for your office, a new laptop, a computer, scanner, etc. So Farmers helps offset that with a signing bonus. We provide up to $500 per month to help you market through different lead companies, internet lead companies. We provide a bonus while you're going through training. We provide a monthly bonus once you sign the retail contract based on your commissions and your production level. And we also provide an annual bonus that you will earn after 12 months of owning your own agency, which Fred just wrapped his up in December of last year. And he earned a very nice annual bonus, which gets spread over 12 months that he can help use to offset some of his expenses. Other key program features you see there at the bottom, we have the retail bonuses are in addition to your commission. Your production requirements reset each quarter. There's a lot of different bonus opportunities once you come off of the 3-year retail contract, and you get that outstanding training that we have won worldwide awards with through the University of Farmers. Let's move to the next slide. So there's 3 ways to enter into owning a farmer's agency. The first is what I just talked about with the retail program. Must have $50,000 in capital to start the business. We do not ask that you liquidate that $50,000, but you have to have that to be able to invest back into the business. You go through the 5-week University of Farmers training, you get the local training with our district. You are opening up that office and you have to have 2 licensed producers. But Farmers does not dictate how many hours a week they work, and they don't dictate how much you pay them. So there's lots of flexibility as you build your team around you. So if you're on the call and you say, Nate, I don't have anywhere close to 50,000, we have that protege program that I talked about with Fred, where you get paired up with a mentor agent of ours. It's a 12-month training program. And all we ask is that you sell $100,000 in premium during that 12-month period. And once you sell the $100,000 in 12 months, you waive the $50,000 in capital. And then you are able to spin out and set up your own retail agency. So really, really good opportunity. Really find two different folks, 2 different candidates that come into the protege. The first, they don't have the capital. The second, maybe they've got a lot of capital, a lot of business experience. They've run other businesses in the past, but not an insurance business. So they want to learn from somebody that's maybe made some mistakes. What would they do differently? So they have that 12-month program to learn from a farmer's agent to make them more successful in the future. And the last program is the associate program. That's a 2-year program, really allows you to dabble in the business, sell a little bit of insurance, keep your other job going, see if it's the right fit for you to become a farmer's agency owner. Do you like selling auto and home and life and commercial? So the associate program provides you that opportunity to kind of keep your existing job, but do this kind of as a side hustle to see if it's a long-term path for you. All right, Beth, what do we got next? Talking about the farmer's family culture. I like to talk to every single person about their why. And I'd say 95% of our candidates want to provide a better future for their family. And I know that my why is my wife, Catherine, and my 3 children. Everything that I've worked so hard during my 20-year career is to provide a better life for them. My other why is my staff, John and Gabby. They're like family to me. Want to provide them opportunities to grow. So when I'm getting to know a candidate, I want to know about their families. We go on trips together, whether it's life promotions, we've done cruises, trips to Mexico before. I get the opportunity to meet their spouses, get to know about their children, because in a majority of what we're doing each and every day, we're providing for families and providing a better life for our agents and their families is really about what our culture is all about. So that comes up a lot in interviews is what's Farmers all about? And I know it sounds cliche, but we talk about the farmer's family. And that's extremely important as you enter into this business with us. It really is a family-driven culture. So I think that wraps up my slides. Beth, I don't know if we've had some Q&A come in, but more than happy to answer any questions that may have popped in. And there is my contact information as well. So Beth, I'll kick it back to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Nate and John and Fred. I think Fred left us already, but we can thank him later. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave up Nate's information. So please jot it down, take a picture of it, but you're also going to get it in an email later today. But that way you can reach out to him to get started in the process. Yeah, we have a few questions that came through. I think one of the first ones was, how long does the onboarding process take?
Yeah, excellent question, Beth. So I talked a little bit about licensing. So I always say 30 days to get licensed. Then you have the 5-week training plus the additional training with the district office. It's generally a 90 to 120 day process to identify your office location, do the training, find the 2 licensed and appointed staff, which we help identify those people with you to build your team. So 3 to 4 months, Beth.
Perfect. I know you guys talked a lot about licensing. I know John talked about it. Could you verify again exactly what licenses I have to get started?
Absolutely. So Farmers requires that you have property and casualty, which allows you to sell auto and home, umbrella, commercial insurance, workers' compensation, and then you have to have life and health as well. We don't write health on Farmers paper, so you can go out and get a contract with Aetna or Blue Cross Blue Shield to write that, but there are components to our life products that have a health component to it, which is why we require everybody to have those 4 licenses: life, health, property, and casualty. The other question that I always get is approximately how much does that cost to get fully licensed? And it's between about $600 and $700.
Perfect. That was a perfect follow-up because somebody was going to ask that. One of the other questions you talked about staff. If I'm new to the industry, new to owning my own business, is there a way that you guys help us find staff members when we start our office?
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that we haven't had the chance to talk about, a brand new piece to our staffing model. So we have something called Service Assist. And Service Assist is a call center where everybody, those Farmers employees, are licensed in all businesses. So our brand new retail agents can use Service Assist, and that would count as one of the 2 staff. And in the first year, that Service Assist costs about $750 per month. You cannot find a cheaper staffing option than $750. John, as I mentioned, he's my head of recruiting. He is working Indeed, LinkedIn, different avenues where we have job postings. So we are constantly talking to candidates that maybe owning their own agency isn't the best fit for them, or they want to be a licensed customer service rep or a licensed producer. So we definitely help in that, Beth, to identify potential staffing candidates for our brand new retail agents.
Perfect. Another question is about opening my office. Can I open that anywhere I want to? Can I do it remotely? What are my options there?
Yep, another very good question. So we have a rule really across the United States with Farmers. We don't want too many Farmers agents stacked right on top of each other. So we just ask that our Farmers agents are 0.6 miles away from another Farmers agent. So at least a half mile so that you're not right on top of an existing Farmers agency owner. However, it's kind of like that McDonald's Burger King dynamic where those restaurants are almost always right next to each other, and it drives business to both. If you're next to a State Farm, Allstate, Country, American Family agent, that is totally fine, because we know if somebody's shopping for insurance, the likelihood that they're going to go talk to both of those agents is very high. So we work very closely. We look at agent to population ratios. We look at where there are new home developments going up, where do we have low market share. So we're very strategic in where we want to place agents. But the general rule of thumb is at least a half a mile away from another Farmers agent. So hopefully that answers the question, Beth.
It does. I guess the follow-up to that is, do I have to be a brick and mortar office? Do you guys offer any kind of remote opportunities?
So the only real remote opportunity would probably be that last program that I talked about, which is the associate agent. However, the associate agent doesn't get any of those bonus opportunities that I talked about. The signing bonus isn't there. The exterior signage, obviously, if you're not in a brick and mortar, you're not going to get that. The retail bonus provides up to 300% multiplier on your new business commissions in the first year. So really, as an associate, if you're working from home and seeing if it's the right fit for you, you're just getting the base commission. So I always say, if you've made the decision that you want to be a farmer's agency owner and you have that capital, you're all in. And being all in means that you do have a brick and mortar. Doesn't have to be this big fancy office on Main Street. I'm in a 3-level office building. You could open and have a 300 square foot office in a dental office or a medical office facility. So that would constitute brick and mortar as well. Keeps your overhead expenses down while you're trying to invest as much as you can back into the business.
Perfect. Kind of a follow-up on that. You mentioned the capital. Could you tell us a little bit about what exactly that capital is used for?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, unlike a lot of our competitors that make you liquidate the capital, I know State Farm requires that you liquidate $50,000. We just want to see that the capital is behind you so that you can help with the staff. You can help cover some of your marketing expenses in addition to the $500 that Farmers provides every month. You're also going to have to be able to cover that office lease, which I always say is probably anywhere from $500 a month up to $2,000, depending on where you're going. So about 10 years ago, Farmers they didn't have a capital requirement. And we would have people coming aboard that had a couple $1,000s to their name. And quite frankly, they didn't make it because they didn't have enough cash flow to put back into the business to help it grow and to become successful. So that's why Farmers has the $50,000 in capital requirement. But again, we do not ask the candidates to liquidate that amount.
Great. That was a great explanation. Another question came through about that protege and associate agent program. Are those salaried positions or straight commission or hybrid?
Yeah, so being an employee of a mentor agent is what the protege program is. So each individual mentor agent, because they are independent contractors with Farmers, they're not employees of Farmers, they dictate how much money to pay. Is it a base plus commission split? I would say that's what a majority of the agency owners offer, because really they want that protege to be hungry to drive sales. So it's generally a low salary per month plus a very high upside when it comes to new business commission. And in most cases, they also offer bonuses based on sales. So long answer short, Beth, it is generally a hybrid compensation model.
Perfect. That really was our last question for today. I do want to thank you again, Nate and John and Fred, and those of you that have attended. Just a reminder, you will receive an email later today with the recording of the presentation. Please feel free to share that with any friends or family or colleagues that might be interested in learning more. And please be sure to reach out to Nate with any further questions you may have, or if you're ready to get started in a career with Farmers. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you so much, Beth. Thank you, everyone.